Welcome to the Sunday Stock Watch List. It's just about a few weeks ago, I actually subscribed a newsletter services that will actually send me one stock per week that are high growth in nature and also underhyped. So at the moment, I have quite a number of the stocks, but what I find interesting is that there is a common factor for all those stocks, which is they are pretty much a very high momentum stocks. So in terms of whether they are underhyped or not, I'm not that sure, but certainly they are strong momentum stocks, which is great for swing trading. So apart from the fundamental analysis that they provide in a briefing format, but what I find most interesting is definitely the strong momentum and also the price structures for those stocks. Alright, so let me just jump in and just dive through and analyze about 6 or 7 stocks. I think the first two are not the US listed stocks. So let's just dive in right now. So the first stock I'm going to run through is EVO. So Evolution Gaming Group. I believe that's not a US stock. It should be from Sweden. It's a Swedish stock. And anyway, yeah, Evolution Gaming Group is a Swedish company, develops, produce, markets, license live casino solution for gaming operators. So certainly it's a very niche market, and I believe it's very profitable as well. But anyway, what I'm interested is only looking at this price structure and also the strong momentum behind it. So just look at this. So let me zoom out a little bit there. So this is the data that I have since the IPO in 2015, and that's somewhere around 50 or even below 50. So you can see that it actually grew from 50 all the way to now about 820. So this is certainly something that I never come across or hear about the Evolution Gaming Group. But you can see that right after this, pretty much a consolidation or the accumulation phases, and also reaccumulation phases on top, and the real takeoff is since 2019. So we have a sign of strength rally. So let me zoom in a little bit there. All right, so this is the sign of strength rally out from the accumulation range, followed by a backup trading range, and eventually have this kind of the marking up and also acceleration to the upside. And during the COVID time, there's a sell-off correction, but it pretty much just take the stock from 400 correct to about 300. So it's just a retrace back to the previous support level, or even from a tiny spring of the previous swing low right there. And subsequently, look at the recovery. You can see that this is actually a spring of the previous swing low right there. And also subsequently, we see that the recovery of the stocks out from the COVID-19 crisis is certainly huge. So it's very quick, and look at how quick it is. So it's just within a couple weeks, it's just break a new high. And once it's breaking a new high, it turns the old resistance now become the support level, have a pullback as a backup action, and subsequently have another good run up, and eventually have a reaccumulation range. So this is a breaking out, pulling back, tested, have another complex pullback, have another test with a lower low, but no commitment to the downside. So pretty much is tested this previous resistance, now turn the support level, and eventually have another run up. But certainly at this price point and the structure, I believe that we do not have any kind of the advantage yet. So the only advantage that we have is somewhere around 760. So that's 760, which is the previous backup action, now become the support level somewhere around 760. So this simple pullback actually just kind of tested the level, and eventually testing the new high, and just reluctantly to test the lower low again. So you form high low right there. So probably this is some levels that I'm interested, about 760. So in terms of the supply level, is pretty much supply has been decreasing, especially during the pullback right there. So while this consolidation forming is kind of increased, localized a little bit right there, so I don't rule out the risk to have a failure to the upside follow through and have a test of this support level again. So that will become a kind of like a trading range or the trading backup action, a range for the backup action. Alright, so that's Evolution Gaming. Next stock, I believe, is another Swedish company. So this is Embracer Group. So Embracer Group is a Swedish video gaming. So this is a video gaming company, and let's take a look at the structure. So definitely we miss out the accumulation phase right there. So this is the accumulation phase, and subsequently that's the COVID-19 sell-off. So that actually just take this sign of strength rally and with this COVID sell-off as a backup action. So this is definitely a very bullish kind of the structure with the COVID-19 sell-off as a backup action out from this accumulation range. And subsequently you can see that the recovery out from this COVID sell-off is very quick as well, and we have a breaking out right there, pulling back and continuation to the upside, forming a tiny or small reaccumulation range and push up, phase E markup, but entering into the consolidation range right now, and recently we have seen some interesting volume and price action as well. So you can see that there's an increasing of the supply together with the relatively sharp sell-off as kind of a shakeout type of the action. So if I just draw a support line, you can see that this type of the shakeout type of action with a very fast and fierce type of the downswing, 1-2 bar, and with a spike of the supply level, did not really create a lower low. In fact, it's kind of tested the previous swing low out of this the selling climax trading range right there. So that's the buying climax, that's the automatic rally. So you can see that despite a lot of the huge effort behind to push the price down, or even with the second sell off or second type of the pullback reaction as a shakeout action, it did not really materialize. There is a very quick recovery up, and this is a test, and subsequently we see that supply has been decreasing, and that actually followed by a great sign of strength rally run up. Currently is kind of have a pullback or the backup action, tested once it's actually tested the previous swing high level. So this is actually the supply zone right there. So it's quite a natural place to have a reaction, and so far the price action doesn't really look very threatening at the moment, but at least it's kind of shallow while it's still unfolding, and with a bit of the increasing of the supply, but I think it's pretty much quite a normal type of the action. So that is the immediate support level, about 185 to probably 195. So that could be the support level. Let's see how it interacts with this level. So we kind of have a bit of the advantage right there because of the support level and also the structure alone just coming out from this sign of strength rally. Alright, so this is Embracer. So next stock, Farfetch. So what's Farfetch? Farfetch is an online luxury platform connect consumer with over 1,200 luxury boutiques across the world. So it's quite interesting that I discovered some of the awesome model and also some of the name that I never actually hear about. So Farfetch, in terms of the recent run up, has been very impressive. I think that also coincides with Russell 2000. where it's actually outperforming S&P and even Nasdaq as well. But look at the structure. So this is a beautiful accumulation structure. So that's the IPO right there, and subsequently it just kind of struggled and failed to create a higher high, and subsequently have another reaction down, and eventually have this kind of the capitulation where supply increasing, and with the gap down, break below the immediate support level. But you can see that with the high level of the supply level kick in, we did not have really much downside follow through. In fact, it's just kind of have this kind of the grinding down action, and eventually just have a test. The previous support now turn the resistance. You can see that the resistance actually works very well, so it just failed to commit above and eventually have another reaction. But overall it just did not manage to create a lower low. In fact, it's just a spring action. If I think that's, yeah, this kind of a spring type of action. So temporary commitment below the previous swing low, and eventually just going back up quickly. So this is kind of maybe a phase C, and eventually just started the phase D, the sign of strength rally, which is this nice rally up. So if you take a zoom out view of this overall structure, it's kind of mimic like a cup and handle type of the pattern. So that's the neckline, resistance, that's the cup and handle type. So if you are a pattern trader, then it's very easily to recognize this type of the pattern, and you can see that that's pretty much a sweet spot. We have quite an aggressive type of the rally with some of the aggressive demand right there. Demand has been increasing, and subsequently when it's forming the handle, we see that the first reaction actually has some increasing of the supply, but not with the results. So the result is kind of a shallow type of the reaction, forming another spring type of the action, temporary commitment, and eventually just get back up and have a breakout right there. So the breakout comes with a acceleration to the upside. But this is a acceleration to the upside once it's actually breaking out from the cup and handle type of the pattern, and it's kind of a runaway gap and keep just pushing up higher and higher. But we see that there is shortening of the trust, and with the demand decreasing, so we can see that there is a strong demand behind, but subsequently the demand has been fading a bit and quite struggle a bit to push higher high. So currently is a reaction is unfolding right now. In terms of the level, I don't really have a good level to have a benchmark with, so probably that will drop to somewhere around there based on the volume alone. So that will be somewhere around 52. So I'm watching if there is some kind of interaction and showing some reversal bar right there at about 52 for possible long entry. Okay, so next one, Mohawk Group Holdings. So I think this Mohawk is actually quite interesting in terms of their model. So it's kind of a consumer packaged goods company, develops, sells consumer products on Amazon and other e-commerce platforms. So a bit like the white label for other type of the products, because it actually depends a lot on the contract manufacturers. So they are pretty much very good at doing the research and marketing. So definitely very interesting model. But what's more interesting to me is definitely the price structure. So we can see that it's pretty much similar to the previous type of the cup and handle type structure. But the thing that actually draw my attention is you can see that during this rally up right there, so there's a sign of strength rally, we see that there is active volume coming in compared to the past. So something is brewing and attract quite a lot of the interest, and we have a internal structure forming right there just before the breakout happened. So supply has been decreasing while forming this kind of the structure, even though the last point of the support right there as a phase C comes with an increasing of the supply, but the result is actually a higher low. I barely just tested the support level at about 6 point something, 6.2, followed by confirmation of this sign of strength rally, breaking out, backing up from the last point of support and explode to the upside. So this is quite a strong momentum stocks and is relatively cheap as well, so about 10 to 20. So in probably 3-4 weeks, well, it's incredible. So it's about 1 month time frame, it just ran from $10 to $22. So definitely something to watch out for. While this is a phase E markup phase, certainly I don't really prefer to chase the price. What I intend to do if I really want to get in is to wait for a pullback. So you can see that this is a resistance now turned a support level. So the support level has been tested with this 2 shadow right there. So let's see if you can just have another type of a pullback and pretty good reversal type signal. So that's something that I'm watch out for to actually riding the uptrend. But because the parabolic type of the movement, I think that most likely I will just give it a miss, because there are plenty of other stocks that are in good structure and also very good volume profile as well. So that's Mohawk, and next one is Open. So OpenDoor Technologies is an online real estate platform. So this is another great type of the platform. I think in terms of the business model is great, but what I'm actually interested in is the price itself. And something that caught my eyes is that not sure whether this is a normal type of IPO where we have seen not much volume at the IPO, and we have a spike of the volume at this day, so gapping up with 60 million of the volume, and subsequently have this run up and the pullback, and eventually it's just kind of have the breakout type. So currently forming a apex type of the formation. So they're probably brewing something. At the moment, there are probably some trading opportunities right there. If you can just choose a direction, whether it's a breaking out or breakdown, to come back to test the support level. Alright, so let's just wait for the price to play it out. Next one, Skillz. So Skillz was another what's this, to turn any mobile game on iOS and Android into one you can play with other players. So well, I think this is quite a niche. It's a huge niche because it's into gaming, but certainly I think in terms of the structure, there's something going on right there. There's a accumulation range, and certainly there's a volume spike right there, and followed by a reaccumulation right there, and this is a breaking out. The backup action is actually at a higher ground, so that's the backup action, and currently in the markup phase. Not much edge at the moment, so don't really like to chase the price unless it can actually come to my preferred level. So currently a pullback is unfolding, so let's see how it can interact with the level somewhere around 21 to 23. So let's see how it can react from there. So that's Skillz. Next one, so Upstart. So Upstart is a very recent IPO. So okay, so this is something that I'm looking for. IPO day, spike of the volume, and yeah, this is quite a nice pattern. Push up since the IPO with a very shallow type of a reaction. Supply has been decreasing, and subsequently have another push up. So just wait for another reaction right there to see if it can come to this level, about 52. So there could be some edge unfolding right there. This is the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it and get something useful out. So if you'd like to learn more, just feel free to check out the video that showed up on the screen right now, and do subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also to get my weekly stock watch list update for free. The link is in the description below. Thanks for watching. I will talk to you soon.